Okay, my name is George Diller, NASA spokesman, Kennedy Space Center at Cape Canaveral. Well, the launch team was quite psyched up. We had been through one other launch attempt 2 days before because during the countdown we discovered that we had a software problem where the primary software and the backup software didn't sync. When we scrubbed the first time, the team felt like, well, you know, this is probably the first of a lot of countdown attempts we're going to have before it actually launches. So for the second attempt overnight, the countdown had actually gone reasonably well. And to get all the way down and inside of 9 minutes, when we got the final go from the launch director, we felt like, are we really going to launch this thing on the second attempt? And I mean, the adrenaline was really flowing. And when it lifted off on that second attempt, it was something that you had to see to believe.
5, 4, we've gone for main engine start. We have main engine start. America's first space shuttle. And the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Roger on the SIP, Columbia.
Mark 2 minutes 20 seconds. Confirm solid rocket booster SIP. Mark 2 minutes 30 seconds. On-board guidance is converging as programmed. Columbia is now steering for its precise window in space for main engine cutoff.
Space Shuttle is a very storied program, and I think for someone who's been privileged enough to be here for the entire thing. I was here when we prepared to launch the first one, and I'll be here for the last one. And there's a feeling about that when you see what the shuttle has done. It's beyond the kind of things that we envision the space shuttle to do. It's given us a kind of capability and flexibility that I think even went beyond what NASA imagined that it might be able to do. So it's been really a feeling of great satisfaction to have been part of that. There were a lot of things that we envisioned could happen to the space shuttle during launch, but a complete catastrophic launch of the vehicle, particularly in the first couple of minutes of the flight, certainly were not one of them. You know, we had looked at contingencies like having to land overseas, maybe getting into orbit and having to turn around and come back, having some kind of a major guidance and navigation system with the shuttle, just all kinds of things. But a catastrophic loss, an explosion, was not something that we thought was within the realm of reasonable probabilities. It was there, but when we looked at all the things that could happen, that wasn't one of them. I think what we learned from that is that the shuttle was sending us signals. It was giving us some indications on some earlier flights that the solid rocket booster O-rings had a problem, but we didn't recognize it. And so now I think we are much better at looking at things in such a way as we can interpret whether the shuttle is sending us a problem, that there's something wrong that is going to lead to a bigger problem later. And we do that now with every flight. We look at it to see if this is something we understand. Is this a signal of a bigger problem? Do we see it on more than one flight? And I think that's probably one of the most important things, is that we've learned to read the signals that the shuttle is giving us. And I think in that way, we probably have helped the shuttle mature much more safely than it might have. I think we actually built on that accident in a way that has made the solid rocket boosters probably the safest part of the shuttle system.
We have a report from the flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded. Flight director confirms that. We are looking at checking with the recovery forces to see what can be done at this point.
I think probably the things that are the most important are the kind of flexibility that the shuttle gave us. When you look at the range of things that it could do, that led to a lot of achievements that otherwise certainly would not have been possible without the space shuttle. When you look at deploying planetary spacecraft from the shuttle, when you look at retrieving a communication satellite because it's broken and we went up and rendezvoused with it, brought it back in, fixed it, and released it. When you look at being able not just to launch the Hubble Space Telescope, but to perform 5 maintenance missions on it, all successfully. When you look at the laboratories, the Space Lab laboratories that we carried in the payload bay that laid the groundwork for the International Space Station. When you look at missions that went up there and deployed something to look at the stars and the galaxies and retrieved it and brought it home on the same mission to refly again later. It's just a whole array of things that show the kind of things that you can do not just with the shuttle, but we know can be done in space. And it's kind of laid the groundwork for the kind of things that eventually we'll be doing again because we know we can.